The hills are alive with the sound of pasty, pasty. Look what's happening. Yes, we're all cats now, my friend. We've entered the pasty dome.
Point of it was she was being called despicable. She was told that she cannot have the opinion. So the child was saying that her opinion is that you can't change your gender. The teacher, and I will make a direct quote, said, "That is not an opinion that we express in this school. And if you don't like it, you need to go to a different school." Now, Dominic.
Well, look at this little kitty cat on the news. Now, normally you can't say that, but GB News is trying to pose themselves as this anti-establishment news organization on the side. Look at us. We try and give you a more fox-like, a little edgy approach to the news. However, we agree with nearly everything the establishment says in nearly every single detail. We love the establishment, and the establishment is there, and we will constantly scare and do all the other things, and at the same time complain about what's happened in a way like we're the opposition. But that's GB News for you. Hey, look at this. She's got her cat ears on, and she's made up with a little nose and little whiskers that makes her look a little cute. And she's in a nice flowery dress, and she's telling us about cat identity, because that's what we've got to now. And you know we're in bad place when we're talking about kids identifying as cats, especially when we know what cats do. You damn cats. And what's that? May I see a cat? And he's eating a pasty.
As much as I'm being silly with my fancy dress, this is a very serious story, because, I mean, what is going on in this world when children can say that they're cats and be taken seriously at school?
Exactly, and I'm afraid that
It's amazing. The one woman's dressed up as a cat, and this woman's dressed up as a Tarabagan marmot. Who would have guessed it?
Teacher is just one of the many examples we're
sorry,
seeing
I called you a Tarabagan
teachers,
marmot,
educators, people that are trusted with, you know, our children's understanding of this world, their readiness to actually explore different points of view. When teachers are actively, very aggressively shouting that down in quite an emotionally unstable way, I think. I don't know whether or not the issue.
Now, I can agree with this. This is the problem with all these identity clash. Oh, we're having an identity clash, we are, because this girl identifies as cat and this guy over here identifies as this and identifies as that. If you allow kids to seek attention, they will seek attention, of course. That's what kids do. They're like, I'm a butterfly. No, you're not a butterfly. Oh, he's talking to me. Oh, I'm a really big butterfly. No, you're not a really big butterfly. Oh my God, I'm so a butterfly all the time, and now I'm going to dress up as a butterfly because you're giving me attention. That's basically the cycle of every single kid in this situation. You're a girl. I am a girl, yes. Yes, you're a girl forever now. Yes, I'm going to be a girl forever. And as soon as you're not a girl, we'll stop paying attention to you. No, don't do that. I will have my bit surgically removed just so that you look at me again, Daddy, and love me. That you love me.
It was very personal to that teacher in particular, but the way she dealt with it was completely unprofessional. And
everybody knows that this teacher was probably a mad cat lady. So, I mean, imagine you're in a classroom, you're teaching your students, and you've separated your psychological love of cats for your teaching and your work, and then suddenly there's a cat in amongst your students just sitting there doing whatever she was doing, what, like math or something, just this cat meowing away. A meow 1 plus meow 2 equals meow 4, meow. Oh, you seem a little dumb. Meow, I'm a cat, meow. Oh, that's a good reason. Okay, as you're a cat, we're going to boost all of your grades up.
And to say that if you express these views that she really has decided is unacceptable, I'm not sure she speaks for the whole entire school, if you don't like it, find another school, is an example of how polarised this debate has actually become, where anyone who expresses, you know, a pretty much scientifically sound view that there are only two genders and that identifying yourself with a cat is, you know, really, it doesn't make any sense at all, does it? You get shouted down and called a homophobe. She's linked it to homophobia.
She did. She said she was
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. Listen, okay, right. I'm listening to this woman. I know GB News has probably got a small pot to choose from, but this isn't the most exciting debate you can have on this topic. And this is all linked in with the trans debate. But the idea that you're homophobic if you don't like cats is true. It's true. I can tell you that's fact. I've not only proven it multiple times, but I am it. There you go. So don't argue with me. You can't argue with me. I identify as a person who's right 100% of the time. There you go. Wait a minute. No, I'm going to identify as a cat who's right 100% of the time. So meow to you. You meow, meow.
She was saying, why do you think, this is a direct quote, why do you think we have so many problems in the world with homophobia? Now look at this little graphic,
Why do you think we have so many problems in the world with pasties?
There's about 70-odd genders. This one describes 18. This was an NHS questionnaire.
I'd like to see your gender fluid.
With all of these different genders, which one are you? This is bonkers, isn't it, Nigel?
I'm a transgender man.
The teacher was unnecessarily aggressive on this one.
An agenda
I thought the kids were actually fighting back quite admirably. And where the teacher should have gone with this conversation is, no, you can't identify as a cat or an aardvark or a chihuahua or something like.
No, wait. No one is talking about not being able to identify as an aardvark. That, sir, is not what we're talking about. We're talking about cats. We're not talking about aardvarks, and I take exception to that. On NEWSPASTE is all about taking exceptions to identifying, not being told you can't identify as an aardvark. That's what we're all about.
Right. You cannot identify as a different species.
But you think you can change your gender?
But I do think you can change your gender, and so.
And women look pretty good when they got cat ears on, like meow meow, isn't it?
So that is enshrined.
He should have put cat ears on. Maybe if he had put cat ears on, he would have looked dreamy too. Little bit of black on his nose and some whiskers. Why didn't he? I bet you they asked him and he was like, "No, I'm not going to do that because it'll confuse people. Because the people who watch GB News are really, really stupid."
In British law for most purposes.
So you think, so for example, I could decide so you're saying...
that you're a pussy. You can decide that you're a pussy. Yes, what you can do. You can decide that you're a pussy. Pussy. Look at you. You look like a pussy. You sound like a pussy. You're on the Pussy News Network. You're there, pussy.
Cats is me taking it too far, but I could
It's a different species, so it would be ridiculous.
So as long as
any
it's
more
the
than
same
you're a pillar
species,
box or
I
something.
could identify, as long as it's the same species, you're comfortable that I could identify as that. So I could identify as a man.
Yes, you can.
Could I identify as a black man?
Then it gets more complicated.
The old ones are the best. Can I identify as a man? Yes, you can identify as a man. Can I identify as a tanned man? Okay, you can identify as a tan man. Can I identify as a black man? Yeah, no, don't do that. If you identify as a black man, you know what happens? They send you to prison straight away. Oh, we got another black man. What? He's come up on the radar. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, no, the black man alert's got off at the police station. Let's send out the black police officers, and they're not the police officers who are black. Actually, some of them are, but they're police officers who deal with black people because that's what happens in most places around. And I myself, I am considering identifying half Chinese and half black. So in the future, I want to be called when. I can't do it. I mean, that's really hard. Okay, I'm going to do it. Try it at home. I want you to try this at home. Come up with a half Asian and a half African name. Okay, so I'm going to go with Wen Magubu. That's my name. I'm Wen Magubu. What are you? Are you Chen McGeeby? I don't know, but I think you should do this. Everybody needs a half African and half Asian name, and you can switch them around. You can be either one, And you can identify as what you like. We're identifying as what we like. So I'm half African and half Asian. I'm not even like half Angolan or half Chad. No, I'm half the entirety of Africa. I'm everything. I am all of Africa, and I am all of Asia. I'm not from Cambodia, Burma, China. I'm from all of them. I identify as all of them, except Mongolian. No, I don't want to be a Mongol. That's it. I don't want to be a Mongol. Bad advertising through the 80s and 90s, so I'm not interested. So that's the only thing I don't identify in Africa and Asia. I don't identify as a Mongol. There you go. What am I even saying?
Because transgender is something that is a personal necessity. If you're trying to change your race, that is a choice, and it also affects another community.
Well,
to reach a master race, you must be half Asian and half African. That is my ruling from now on. And you must speak like a mad German.
Do you not think that this whole transgender thing affects another community? Men saying that they can be women. Do you not think that the community of women are affected by that?
Well,
said the cat to the man.
They are, and that's where we talk about women's spaces. But if under the law, a woman can have a
women's spaces, kitty faces. Yeah, sorry, I just had to say that.
Penis.
Yeah, I mean,
the question then.
Wait a minute. Did he just say penis? I think he did. I'm going to rewind it. I want to hear him say penis again. Let's hear it.
Penis.
Yeah!
The question then,
oh my God, he just said it. That was interesting. I'm going to say it one more time. Go on, give it one more time.
Penis.
Yeah, I mean,
and the question then is whether or not that woman should be able to use women-only spaces. I think not, by the way. But the only difference under the law is you don't send a trans woman with male genitalia into a prison.
Firstly, just because something is law doesn't mean that it makes sense or that it's right. And you know, if something
just because something's long doesn't make it right. I mean, law. Sorry, I'm thinking of penises again. Yum, yum, yum.
It's not right. Just because it's law, that doesn't mean, you know, you have to follow it. It's my personal view.
Well, you have to follow the law.
Well, you don't have to follow the law if it's not right, and that's how...
Well, I don't know. I think officially you have to follow the law, because most of the law we got now could be debated on and eventually will probably change over time. Yes. Changes happen over time.
People affect change. But on that, the logic is the same. It doesn't matter if you're identifying as a different race or if you're identifying as a different species, because the whole point of being transgender and having gender dysphoria is the idea that you were placed in the wrong body.
Well, that is to one person. I bet you there'll be other complicated versions of it that come out, but basically that's the best they got. You placed in the wrong body is what they got, but in actual fact, they've been placed in the wrong mind mentally. They are mental. They are completely mental. Now, if they were a transgender cat, I would say that makes a lot of sense. And I'd like to see more transgender cats. So I'd like to see us create quotas, transgender cats, no aardvarks, kill the aardvarks.
And you identify with another gender. So using that logic, you can feel like you were born into the wrong race, because that's a biological thing. You can feel as though me not being white is materially affecting my life and my mental health.
What? Wait, what? She's not white, and that bloody causes her problems. Oh, I don't know about that. I thought she was white myself.
Same with different species. I mean, it's not entirely uncommon for people
Oh, no, now I've seen it. Now she's talking about people. Now I see it. This lady should also be wearing cat ears. I think they should all be wearing cat ears. I'm really disappointed with them all. I think this is, even the one wearing cat ears, I'm disappointed with her for not insisting that, that they should wear cat ears.
Who identify with animals and want to be animals. I mean, online you can find where people can actually pretend to be dogs and foxes.
But they can't be a dog or a fox.
But they believe it in their mind, so the logic is the same. It is.
I worry about this because it's all well and good to be a little bit flippant about
It's all well and good, but if you type in doggy style online, I think we all know what's coming up.
But to me, there is a real safeguarding issue here. So you've got companies, external companies, that are going into schools in this country. Parents are not allowed to see what it is, the material that these children are receiving. A parent was going through a tribunal recently.
Wow. Can you imagine some of the stuff they're showing? So this is a beaver's anatomy, and this is what eventually you want your anatomy to look like. So, hey, you want to have a beaver, then what you've got to do is basically Shiva and cleaver your a beaver, or no, Shiva and cleaver your beaver to get a beaver, if you know what I mean. And then you got the beefiest beaver that you could possibly find. That's what you've got to do. Now, are you ready to do that? Don't tell your parents. Don't tell your parents about your beaver, Shiva, cleaver.
And was again, she failed at a challenge to see this material, because what they were saying is showing this material that kids are being taught would breach the confidentiality that they have in place with these schools, and
showing the material these kids have been taught will breach the gates, and eventually you would see people hanging from the rafters. Is that what you're saying? I think that's what you're saying. You see, it would be a catastrophe, be a cat, catastrophe, cat. It identifies a catastrophe. Cat. It's a cat in catastrophe.
Reduce their ability to commercialise their proposition. If the material was in the public domain, they couldn't be able to monetise it. This is so worrying. And I think actually parents do need to stand up to this, push back.
I'm not sure how many cats have spots on their chin. I think that's just going too far. Look at that. Look at the spots on their chin. I don't think that's right. I got cats and they don't have spots on their chin. I'm going to have to make a point of this.
Against it, because children, they shouldn't be told you cannot say that there's two genders. You have to respect everyone for whatever it is, whatever. But yet, actually, when someone feels that two genders is a real thing, as is biological sex, that one, you don't have to respect that one.
I gotta say that even from someone who's basically down with what she's saying, listening to stupid people explain to people at home why they need to stop doing this isn't news. This isn't unbiased reporting. The report is currently saying what you can and can't do. This isn't investigating. This isn't her reporting. She's literally just saying this is what you should do and this is what you shouldn't do. So even though I'm down with the subject and all of that, this is a bunch of pasty from a pasty master, a masty pasta.
That's just a totally different ball game.
Yeah, but that's the kind of debate that you should have in the schools. And so I can see no reason why teachers shouldn't talk about transgender issues in schools. And the government are coming out with some guidance that you're talking about there.
Why shouldn't they talk about transgender issues in school? Because school will teach them some random, banal middle ground that'll lead everybody to being confused about everything because it won't make any sense, and that's what's been proven. So you can't see any reason. You can't see any reason. Are you stupid? Have you got... This guy must be stupid. He must have the mind of a cat. His mind must identify as a cat's mind.
About what would be appropriate both by age and the material that is actually being given to kids.
But the thing is, it seems as though these charities and these companies are all trying to outperform each other with how inclusive and in-depth that they can be, which is what is leading to these detailed and really, I think, quite indoctrinating ideas about gender and really presenting them as fact. I think it's sort of a fever pitch where they all just want to outperform each other. But I think
she's right. They do want to outperform each other, just like these sites, channels, and news channels want to outperform each other on discussing this issue, but they're discussing just the same things. They can't go outside the box. The same discussions that we had here will be had on Sky, will be had on Channel 4, will be had on NBC, ABC, Australian TV, South African TV. It doesn't matter. They'll all have the same things, where they'll have the same conversations, and it's still leading to people having their bits, kids having their bits chopped off. Well done. Oh, you've done a really good job of safeguarding, haven't you, human race all around the world? I think
parents should definitely have more of a say, because at the end of the day, it's them that should be in charge of their children's education.
I think parents should have more of a say. It's amazing that this is like the whole thing, that this is a shtick, that people are legally making other people's kids, grooming them to a certain way of thinking. That's crazy. The only way that could happen in the world, the only way that that could be normalized, is if everybody had pasties for eyes and pasties for brains and all.
I don't think it should be a random teacher with ideological views who pushes that onto vulnerable.
Well, synapse changes that you're referring to, some people are saying they're reminiscent of Section 28, which we'll all remember that ban against promotion of homosexuality. Anyway, some of the things that he's saying, which sound like common sense to me, teachers must tell parents that their child is questioning their gender.
That's pretty normal, but you know what that would mean? That does mean that they're not going to have a conversation. They're not going to have a conversation with their teachers, so you don't get any type of loop round. So it's never going to sort out the problem. And if they're questioning their gender, then there's got to be said something about the entire wider society and what they're being taught on TV and what they're seeing online.
New preferred pronouns until the parents consent. The kids and the teachers don't have to respect the chosen pronouns for the pupils. Would you kind of agree with those measures?
Well, the whole thing there is that whatever
linguistics. This is all this is. Linguistics. Do you linguistically want to recognize someone's linguistic right to be called something? I don't think in linguistic rights is a thing. They obviously do. They believe that you can enforce rights for people to say something about another person. It's just not going to happen ever in a million years. Never, ever, weather. And if you go around and call someone like me cis male, I'm going to say, no, I'm not. And they're going to say, yes, you are. And it's going to be an argument, of course, because they're talking nonsense. They're making up words. It's all linguistic. It's all linguistic. It's all about language. Nothing about anything else. It's not really about cats. It's not really about cats. Did you know it's not really about cats? I'm saying that categorically speaking. Cat. Categorically cat. Cat. Categorically. Cat is categorically speaking. Categorically.
A teacher does should be in the child's best interest. So if a child comes to a teacher and says, look, I think I'm transgender or I'm gay or whatever, please don't.
No. If a child comes to a teacher and says, meow, 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 meow,
tell mum and dad, I think the teacher should respect that. Parents shouldn't have a veto over what their children are being taught.
You'd be very happy with your son going to school and
coming back
regarded in every way at school as a girl,
as a pasty,
and you have no knowledge of it. So your kid is now going. She's called Sarah at school. She's going to girls' toilets.
She's a pasty called
She's talking
Sarah.
about
she's going
breast
to the
binding,
girls'
chest
toilet.
binding. She's talking about potentially being put on a pathway to bodily mutilation and hormones. You'd be comfortable not knowing any of that.
Well, all this is a long way down the road. I mean, you're talking about somebody who might be thinking about becoming transgender.
Well, I tell you, I think this is all a very slippery slope. And as a mum myself, I certainly do worry about this issue. I think it's one of the most serious things going on in...
Oh, God, NEWSPASTE. I call pasty on all of this. Pasty on all of this. Pasty on both your houses.
Being a great reset for the post-corona era.